With me in the green room is Dr. Brian Buckstead from Hayes Symphony, their conductor. They are currently preparing for their Winter Classics concert. Hello, Brian. How are you?
Hello, Caitlin. I'm happy to be here. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking me to do this.
Of course. Well, tell us a bit about what to expect on your next concert.
Our next concert is a concerto aria concert. So by that, that means that there was an audition that happened last fall, or it was early December actually, and this is something where I really want to celebrate local talent. The talent that we have here in Hayes, specifically at Fort Hays State University. So students were invited if they wanted to take part in this to audition to perform a solo or sing a solo with this symphony. So we had a number of students audition for this. There were four finalists or winners that were chosen, and they are going to be performing with us next Saturday night.
What kind of opportunities does that present for the students? I mean, these are experiences that they might not have ever had before performing with an orchestra.
Yeah, it's a very special opportunity, I think. It's one thing to perform a solo with a pianist and maybe in front of some friends or your teacher, but to do it with a full orchestra, the way the piece was actually written, the way it was intended to be played in front of a large audience, that's a very special thing.
Is this a long-standing tradition, your concerto aria concert?
From what I've heard, this happened in the past, but it hadn't been happening for the last, I don't know how many years. But I've kind of revived it and we're starting it again. And I want it to be a yearly thing.
So this is kind of the first year back.
Exactly.
Oh, that's so great. Now, Fort Hays State University has a really strong music program. You have a lot of students involved in music, in choir, in your orchestra, in band, both
Mhm.
majors and non-majors. Would you say that most of the students who auditioned were music majors?
Yeah. I mean, I had certain stipulations for auditioning for this. They had to be taking lessons, and
Mhm.
they had to be at least a sophomore, and so on. Yeah, all of these students that happened to be chosen this year are music majors. That is not necessarily a requirement, though.
Mm.
So it's kind of more open to a broader category of students.
And what's the repertoire? Who won? Who we get to hear?
um, it's going to be an interesting concert. We get to hear a piano concerto by Mozart. Let me bring up my list of soloists here. Brandon Smith is a piano performance major. He'll be performing Mozart's one movement from Mozart's Piano Concerto number 19. Katie Walters is a mezzo soprano. She will be singing two arias, one by Meyerbeer and one by Rossini. And then we have a tenor, Luis Valencia Zamora, who will be performing an aria by Mozart. And then we have Ashley Valesing, who is a sophomore music education major clarinetist. She'll be performing Weber's Concertino for clarinet and orchestra.
And when is the concert?
The concert is Saturday night, February 18th, 7:30 p.m. in Beach Schmidt Performing Arts Center.
And to get tickets?
Tickets can be found online, haysymphony.org. I believe they also usually have tickets at the Hayes Visitor Center. And you can pick up tickets the night of the concert in the lobby of Beach Schmidt. It's free as always, free.
Oh, fantastic. So, tickets, but free tickets.
Exactly.
That's
The
important.
ticket is more of a reminder that it's happening tonight. Here you go.
Pick up your reminders.
Yep.
Yes, you can reserve your reminder at
Yep.
haysymphony.org. Well, we're going to listen to a little bit of this Weber Concertino for Clarinet and Orchestra, and we'll be back to talk with Dr. Brian Buckstead about the Hayes Symphony. That was clarinetist James Campbell performing Weber's Concertino for Clarinet and Orchestra. That is one of the pieces programmed on the next Hayes Symphony Orchestra concert, and it will be performed by one of their student concerto aria winners. This is the Green Room, and I have Dr. Brian Buckstead with me from Fort Hays State University and is the conductor of the Hayes Symphony Orchestra. Brian, let's talk a little bit more about what's on the concert besides these pieces performed by your soloists.
Yes, the symphony will be opening the concert with a piece of our own, no soloists, the Armida Overture by Joseph Haydn. Haydn is not known for his operas necessarily, but this is an overture from one of his operas. And we will be closing the evening with a Symphony Number 2 by a really interesting kind of contemporary of Mozart. His name was Chevalier de Saint Georges. His given name was Joseph Bologna. But he was absolutely fascinating character. His father was French. His mother was of African descent. So this was a person who had to go through a lot in his lifetime to achieve what he achieved. He became a brilliant composer. He was very famous fencer. He won, awards for fencing. So he studied music. He was a fencer. He became well known throughout Europe, but he was largely forgotten until maybe his music started to have a resurgence, maybe in the last 15, 25 years.
Yeah, and you
And
know what's
yeah, go ahead.
well, I was just going to interject. What's really fun about the timing of it all is that there's about ready to be a United States release of the movie called
Absolutely.
Chevalier. I think it's
So
released in April or this spring or something. We'll get to have it in theaters here in the
absolutely,
States.
there's going to be a movie about him. You never know how accurate those are going to be. I'm sure it's going to be entertaining the way Hollywood movies are, but there are always liberties taken with these kinds of projects. But yeah, he's become not a household name, but he's certainly risen among musicians. His
Yeah.
name has risen.
So the Hayes Symphony Orchestra, with mostly comprised of student musicians, but do you have some community members? Am I remembering that correctly, that you
We
invite
do,
community
yes.
members and faculty to perform?
We have faculty members, we have community members, we have a few outside community members who come and join us. So it's a nicely rounded orchestra.
And what a wonderful opportunity for the students, the ones who have won this
Absolutely.
concerto aria competition. It's just so thrilling for them to be able to perform with an orchestra.
I agree.
So it is February the 18th at 7:30, Beach Schmidt Performing Arts Center. Get a ticket to reserve your spot and to remind yourself that it's happening, but it's free, which is
Absolutely
fantastic.
free.
Well, thank you so much. Really quick, another rundown of the names of the students who are performing.
Yes, we have Ashley Vlasing performing Weber's Concertino for Clarinet. We have Brandon Smith performing Mozart's Piano Concerto Number 19. We have Katie Walters singing two arias, and we have Luis Valencia Zamora singing an aria by Mozart.
Dr. Brian Buckstead from the Hayes Symphony, thank you so much for being here and telling us all about your upcoming concert. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Caitlin.